Welcome to The Nation. I'm Rachel Smalley. China's steel production is slowing down, and that's being felt by the coal mining industry both here and in Australia. Coal prices are at their lowest since 2010 and are forecast to be down 25% in the December quarter. Solid Energy is in negotiations to close its Spring Creek mine, with 230 jobs at risk. But one miner, Bathurst Resources, seems to be bucking that trend and is continuing with plans to open a coking coal mine at Denniston on the west coast. Before it can mine, however, it needs to win 2 planning consent appeals. Its CEO, Hamish Bohannan, joins us now live from Wellington. Hello, Mr. Bohannan. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Rachel.
Tell us first, if you will, why you are here. What's attracted you to here?
Bathurst is in New Zealand. We are a New Zealand coal mining company. We don't have any other assets or places of work. And we're in New Zealand because whilst we have a very modest on global scale or even Australasian scale coal resource, the coal quality and the coal that we have here is some of the best in the world.
I think so far it's cost you around $250 million in your fight. I know you've spent about $15 million seeking resource consent as well. You're clearly very pro the situation here. What do you think? What's, in your opinion, what do we stand to lose if we don't embrace mining?
I think mining is a very key element in any economy. The resource sector is real value for the people in the ground that needs to be realised and played back to make long-term benefits to the economy and the infrastructure in any country. New Zealand has great mineral wealth in the ground, and we need to turn that into real returns for the nation.
We certainly do have great untapped mineral wealth here. How is New Zealand viewed, do you think, by the mining industry in general?
What we do here is world class. Our standards are world class. We have great mines, but we are on a smaller scale. We have great opportunities, but one aspect, and clearly we're in the middle of it, it is a fairly long road going between the discovery of a deposit, because that's a long road in itself, to the actual turning that into an operating mine, generating jobs, generating revenue, generating taxes back to the country.
And certainly the Greens would argue at great environmental cost too to the country. You can't argue, can you, that it would change the landscape of the Denniston Plateau forever, really?
Well, we do argue that, and simply the opportunity today is with best practices to make sure that there is a long-term benefit to not only the economy but the ecology as well. We have a very special, unique ecology here in New Zealand, as we all know. We separated from Gondwana a long time ago. The unfortunate thing is that early on in the piece, we introduced a lot of other species, flora and fauna as well. So our native ecology is heavily challenged, and it is a very delicate ecology. What we in Bathurst are absolutely committed to doing is using some of our return back to that ecology. The area on Denniston Plateau that we're operating is one part of Denniston Plateau. It's a long mining history there. There are lots of old mine workings, and there's some long-term effects that are ongoing today. So we believe that there is a balance and it is achievable. So
given all of that, why are you facing objection after objection over this?
Well, we're really facing 2 groups of objection, and they keep appealing and appealing. One group is really focusing, or they're both focusing, but the main argument is on climate change and acidification of oceans. That's a global impact. We in New Zealand produce today about 6 million tonnes of coal. There's about 6 billion tonnes of coal produced on the planet. So doing things differently in New Zealand is really trying to steer the Titanic by hanging on to the flag at the back. We are concerned about climate change. To us, it's all about using coal more efficiently and walking away from it, but we haven't got a solution today. That might be a 30-year or 20-year or a 50-year program. The other argument is the ecological damage. Mining, open cast mining, explicitly turns the soil. It's a bit like farming. The difference is once mining's finished, you put it back. Farming goes on effectively forever and ever. And what we can do today is put things back pretty well as they were before, and make improvements. We can remove the weeds, we can re-establish wetlands and so forth.
Last week, I think it was, you said that foreign investors perceived New Zealand as being too green. What do you mean by that?
This is feedback I've had from some of our shareholders, particularly the shareholders overseas. And it's not that we're too green per se, that's clearly the words I used, but what it is, we have an open-ended loop for groups to keep appealing and peeling the deal until it gets to the final Supreme Court hearing. That isn't the case overseas. Normally, once you've had a ruling, that ruling is the ruling. There are obviously first opportunity for appeal, but not re-appeal and re-appeal.
We've had two ministers on this program, Mr Bohannan, Phil Heatley and Stephen Joyce. Both floated the idea that the government could potentially fast-track projects of regional significance, and by that they were talking about mining pretty much. Are you confident the government will do that?
I'd love to think the government will do that, and it's not detracting from public opinion, it's not detracting from public say in the process, it's not detracting from the appeals, but it is really just putting a finite ending on it. Investors need to know whether a project is going to go ahead or not, and need to know in a finite time frame. Global investors will put their money where they get a return. They don't want to put it in an account where it gets nothing for 2 or 3 years. They'd like to see a return in a reasonable time frame.
Are you confident your project will go ahead?
Yes, we are. We firmly believe, the whole team behind me believes, that we will make a net gain for New Zealand and New Zealand's ecology.
Have you had conversations with the government about potentially this process being fast-tracked?
Not this process. We certainly talked about the process in general. We aren't only here for the escarpment, we're also in Southlands. The whole process is key for the industry, not just for Bathurst.
What sort of conversations have you had, and with whom?
We had a forum in Rotorua only 2 weeks ago that was Professional Mining and Metallurgy Association. Minister Heatley was there, and as a group, as an industry lobby, we all put forward the point that we need to have a clearer route to taking our mineral prospects from an action in the ground to an actual return to the economy.
And did he reassure you that that will happen?
He reassured us that the government is working on it, yes.
All right. It is a fraught process. There are significant difficulties with this, appeal after appeal. Why do you keep pouring millions into it? What do you think Bathurst stands to gain financially out of this?
I think what Bathurst is held by our shareholders. 9% of those shareholders are Kiwis at the moment, and I'd love to see that proportion change. So as for Bathurst, it's increasing the value of the company. For ourselves as the Bathurst team, it's creating jobs. We are a New Zealand company. At the moment, we employ about 100 people. That will increase to about 450 people with this project. We believe in really making a contribution to New Zealand and being part of New Zealand Inc.
How do you maintain your optimism when we know the spot price for coking coal since June, I think, has fallen by about 22%? Surely the economics of this project have changed quite remarkably this year.
I started out as a miner 35 years ago. I've been in the mining game ever since. We are price takers. Commodities go up, they go down. And coal is no different from iron or copper or anything else. Wheat is too. All the commodities go up and down. So prices have come off. They've come off considerably from the high of 18, 24 months ago. But they are still on a long improving trend. This isn't a short project. This is for the long term. With best practices, with efficient operations, we believe there's a real gain to be made for our shareholders and for New Zealand.
Clearly, Solid Energy doesn't share the same optimism as you. Where do you think Solid Energy went wrong?
I don't think Solid Energy have gone wrong per se. We're in slightly different spaces. We're at the moment a smallish team focused on our project in Westport. We've got operations in Southlands and a small operation on the Denniston Plateau already. So we are in an enviable position, really, in that we've got a very focused spend. The unfortunate thing that Solid is, it has large operations, a large workforce. Prices have come up, returns have shrunk, and they have to cut the cloth to suit the body, and that's where they're at. We're just in a different space at this moment.
OK, different space. You also seem more optimistic, perhaps. Where else do you see that there are mining opportunities in New Zealand?
I think the West Coast has phenomenal opportunity, not only in coal. There's been a very good study by West Coast Development, West Coast Minerals, on the potential there. Clearly there is more coal in the south. We're active in Southlands now, and that is good thermal coal that can work in the domestic market. And there's gold opportunities, there's iron sand opportunity. We have opportunities throughout the nation.
So what is Bathurst Resources' bottom line here? You've spent $250 million. Is there a point where you will say that's enough, we're pulling out?
We've spent 250 or committed 250 to the purchase of all the assets. We've spent some $15 million on the licensing path so far. No, there isn't a bottom line. We are committed to this project. We believe that our $250 million investment on the West Coast will generate significant returns to the shareholders and the economy. We have some 50-odd million American dollars in the bank today, so we're not going to run out of money in the foreseeable future, and we have access to considerable funds. So we are confident that we will bring this project to be a real jewel on the West Coast.
100% confident?
Absolutely.
All right. Bathurst Resources CEO Hamish Bohannan, very much appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.